The next 2 weeks on Day bring explosive drama, shocking revelations, and intense emotional turmoil as several Salem residents face life-changing events. One of the most surprising developments involves Belle Black, who finds herself drawn to E.J. DiMera in ways she never anticipated. Despite her better judgment and the complicated history between their families, Belle is unable to resist the allure of the powerful and enigmatic DiMera. This unexpected connection could have serious consequences, as Belle struggles to reconcile her feelings with her responsibilities to those she loves. Meanwhile, Holly Jonas and Doug Williams III embark on a daring mission, determined to reclaim the coveted fence necklace. The piece of jewelry has become a major point of contention, and with Melinda Trask refusing to cooperate, the duo must come up with an elaborate plan to retrieve it. Their journey will be fraught with risks, but they are willing to take their chances in the hopes of achieving their goal. As these storylines unfold, the most shocking twist comes when Johnny DiMera uncovers a devastating truth about his past. He learns that E.J. raped Sammy Brady years ago, and that this horrifying act led to his conception. The revelation leaves Johnny reeling, shaking him to his core as he grapples with the implications of his father's monstrous actions. The knowledge that he is the product of such a traumatic event ignites a storm of emotions within him, causing him to lash out at E.J. with full force. The rift between Johnny and E.J. widens as Johnny struggles with feelings of anger, betrayal, and despair. He wonders if he can ever move past this revelation or if his relationship with his father is irreparably damaged. As he attempts to process this shocking truth, Chanel Dupree DiMera steps in to offer comfort and support. Chanel has always been Johnny's rock, and in his darkest moment, she proves her love and devotion by standing by his side. However, the pain Johnny feels cannot be easily erased, and his future with E.J. remains uncertain. In another corner of Salem, Shane Donovan faces intense scrutiny when Marlena and Steve confront him in his office. With John missing and trouble looming, Shane finds himself at the center of an interrogation. Marlena and Steve demand answers, desperate for any clue that could lead them to John. Shane is forced to defend his actions and explain his knowledge of the unfolding situation. But will he reveal the truth, or is he hiding secrets that could endanger those searching for John? Back in the world of intrigue and deception, Holly and Doug's plan to retrieve the necklace continues to unfold. Melinda remains a formidable opponent, refusing to cooperate with their demands. The stakes are high, and the risks they take could have serious consequences. Will Holly and Doug succeed in their mission, or will their scheme backfire, leaving them in a worse predicament than before? With so many shocking developments taking place over the next 2 weeks, Salem is set to be rocked by scandal, betrayal, and heartache. As the residents navigate these treacherous waters, the impact of these revelations will be felt for months to come. Fans of Days of Our Lives won't want to miss a single episode as the drama unfolds in ways no one could have anticipated. Back on Friday episode. In the lively town of Salem, the police department was a busy place filled with the sounds of ringing phones and hurried footsteps. Kristen DiMera stood near the front desk, her stylish coat and confident posture making her stand out in the plain, gray surroundings. She was on the phone with her brother Tony, her voice tinged with worry. "I'm at the Salem PD waiting for Mother," she said. "I just hope she's ready to come home without any trouble." As she ended the call, the door opened and Melinda Trask, the district attorney, walked in alone. Kristen's heart skipped a beat. She hurried over, her voice sharp with concern. "Melinda, where's my mother? Why isn't she with you?" Melinda raised a hand, asking for calm. "There's a problem, Kristen. Your mother, Rachel Blake, got into a scuffle with another inmate. It seems someone insulted her, called her a rude name, and she bit them in response." Kristen closed her eyes for a moment, letting out a long sigh. "That sounds like Mother. Is she hurt?" "No, she's fine," Melinda assured her. "The other woman isn't pressing charges, but it slowed down her release. We're finishing the paperwork now. Still, I need to warn you, Rachel seems unsteady. This kind of behavior could cause trouble for you, especially as the new CEO of DiMera Enterprises." Kristen nodded, feeling the weight of her responsibilities. She had taken over the family business, determined to make it strong again, and her mother's wild actions were the last thing she needed. "I understand, Melinda. I'll keep an eye on her." Just then, a police officer brought Rachel Blake into the room. Despite her time behind bars, Rachel looked surprisingly put together. Her gray hair was neatly combed, and her eyes sparkled with energy. "Kristen, my darling," she called out, rushing to hug her daughter. Kristen wrapped her arms around her mother, relief mixing with exasperation. "Mother, let's get you home. You've had quite a day." As they walked out of the station, Rachel couldn't stop talking about her adventure. "That woman had it coming, Kristen. She called me a washed-up old fool. I couldn't let that stand." A little nip was all it took to shut her up. Kristen managed a small smile, guiding her mother to the car. "Well, let's try to keep the biting to a minimum from now on, okay? You're out now, and that's what matters." The drive back to the DeMera mansion was filled with Rachel's stories. She talked about the other inmates, the card games she'd learned, and how she'd stood up for herself. Kristen listened quietly, her mind already racing ahead to what might come next. When they pulled up to the grand DeMera mansion, Rachel paused, looking up at the house. "Oh, Kristen, you've remodeled. It's beautiful. But I see Stefano's portrait still hangs over the fireplace. It's like he's still watching over us." "Yes," Kristen replied, opening the door. "I wanted to keep some things the same, even with all the changes." Inside, the house was peaceful, the staff gone for the day to give them privacy. Kristen led her mother to the living room, where a shiny marble table sat between two soft couches. "Sit down, Mother. I'll make us some tea." As Kristen prepared the tea, Rachel explored the room, running her fingers over the familiar furniture and admiring the new touches. "You've done wonders with this place, dear. It feels like home, but brighter somehow." "Thank you," Kristen said, bringing over 2 steaming cups. "I wanted it to feel fresh but still honor our family's past." They sat across from each other, and Kristen took a deep breath. "Mother, we need to talk about something important." Rachel sipped her tea, her eyes curious. "What's on your mind?" "It's about Brady and me," Kristen began. "I know you've always dreamed of us getting back together, but it's not going to happen. We're just friends now, raising our daughter together. I need you to stop trying to push us back into a relationship." Rachel set her cup down, looking surprised. "But Kristen, you and Brady were so good together. And little Rachel, your daughter, deserves a family with both her parents." "I know you mean well," Kristen said gently, "but Brady and I have moved on. I'm the CEO of DeMera now, and I'm busy keeping the company strong. I can't keep dealing with extra problems you stir up." Rachel sighed, her shoulders slumping. "I suppose I've been a bit of a troublemaker, haven't I? I'm sorry, dear. I promise I'll behave. All I want is to spend time with you and my granddaughter." "Is that too much to ask?" Kristen smiled, feeling a wave of relief. "Not at all, Mother. I'm happy to have the 3 generations of Blake women together. It's been too long." She stood and hugged her mother tightly. "Welcome home," she whispered. But as they embraced, Kristen caught a glimpse of Rachel's face. There was a sly, playful look in her eyes, a look that made Kristen wonder if her mother's promise was entirely honest. "Let's get you settled upstairs," Kristen said, pulling back. "A hot bath and some rest will do you good. And how about some hard-boiled eggs later? I know you love those." Rachel's face lit up. "Oh, that sounds heavenly. You always did make the best eggs." As they climbed the stairs, Rachel hummed a cheerful tune, but Kristen's mind was buzzing. She wanted to believe her mother had changed, that they could enjoy this new chapter together. Yet that mischievous glint stayed with her, hinting that Rachel might have plans she wasn't sharing. Later, as Kristen unpacked her mother's things, the phone rang downstairs. It was Brady calling to check on their daughter. "How's little Rachel doing?" he asked. "She's fine," Kristen replied. "And actually, my mother's back. She's staying with us for a while." Brady paused. "Rachel Blake? Are you sure that's wise, Kristen? She's always been unpredictable." "I know," Kristen said with a sigh. "But she's family and I want to give her a chance. She says she'll behave." "Just watch yourself," Brady warned. "You know how she can be." "I will," Kristen promised. After hanging up, she returned to her mother's room where Rachel was arranging her clothes with a smile. "Everything all right?" Rachel asked, looking up. "Yes, just Brady saying hello," Kristen replied. Rachel's eyes sparkled. "Such a nice man." "You too, Mother," Kristen interrupted, raising an eyebrow. Rachel laughed, holding up her hands. "All right, I won't say it." "I promised, didn't I?" "Yes, you did," Kristen said, smiling despite herself. But as she left the room, she heard Rachel mutter softly, "For now." Kristen stopped, then kept walking, a mix of hope and caution in her heart. Having her mother home was a gift, but she knew Rachel Blake too well. Life at the DeMera mansion was about to get a lot more interesting and maybe a little more complicated than she'd planned. Only time would tell what surprises her mother had in store.